Hello again. I wonder if anybody still remembers the Thatcher years, and in particular the one thing for which she was particularly hated. That was the high number of people without jobs, of course, who were compelled to survive on benefits. It was this, above all else, that she was famous for in the early 1980s. Policies which led to widespread unemployment and then doing nothing to alleviate the situation. Remember when Norman Tebbit told people that his own father had got on his bike and went looking for work during the Great Depression, and how heartless he and Thatcher were thought to be about the whole business? 3 million people, in fact just over 3 million, were out of work at the height of the period, more than at any time in British history. Since those days, high unemployment has been seen as toxic for governments, and great efforts have been made to keep it down or hide the true scale of unemployment. By this, I mean that the government don't really care if there are a lot of people without jobs. It rather means that it is seen as vital not to let those people find their way into the unemployment figures. So it was that youth unemployment, which was such a scourge in the Thatcher years, was dealt with by increasing the school leaving age to 18. Since there are over 2 million 16 to 18-year-olds in this country, you can see how that had a very powerful effect upon the level of unemployment. Many of those teenagers are just marking time in pointless courses at further education colleges, but that hardly matters. It's still a couple of million people who will not be appearing in the statistics as unemployed. Another scam was to encourage people to be long-term sick or disabled. Those people too were removed from the statistics relating to unemployment, reducing them still further. I think it fair to say that most ordinary people are perfectly familiar with these tricks and understand very well what has been going on. They are aware that the number of people in Britain who are theoretically unemployed bears no relation whatsoever to the actual number of people living on benefits. In the description to this video, I give a link to a graph which shows how many people have been unemployed in this country from May 1971 up to the present day. In the spring of 1984, the year that the miners' strike began, the number of unemployed reached a record high of 3,278,000. Shockingly high. Today, that figure has plummeted and now stands at just 1,367,000. This is almost as low as it was 50 years ago. Not bad, eh? Of course, the tricks which have been played with the rate of unemployment have now become so grotesque that this figure is absolutely absurd. In fact, over 9 million people of working age in Britain are not working, and nor are they looking for a job. They're all on benefits. Just imagine that, over a fifth of the population on social security. This is how successful the tricks that have been played with the figures have been. Unemployment is in reality far higher than it has ever before been in this country's history, even during the Great Depression in the 1930s, and yet, on paper, the unemployment rate is almost at a 50-year low. I have to admit that I have a sneaking admiration for the tricksy way that this miracle has been achieved, but the fact still remains that 9 million people in this country are out of work. I cannot help wondering what would happen if 2 or 3 million of those people were to start working in care homes or picking fruit, sweeping floors, working as security guards and so on. Do you think it possible that this would mean that we wouldn't need to import all those foreigners who are undertaking those kind of low-paid jobs? Do you think that this idea has ever occurred to anybody in the government, or that they are all so hypnotised by the idea of keeping the rate of unemployment looking low that they've finally been deceived by their own lies and genuinely believe that there is a shortage of labour in this country due to the ageing population, as we are usually told. The ageing population gag, which is often trotted out to explain why we need mass immigration, really falls apart when we realise that over 9 million people in this country are not currently working, nor are they seeking work.